Hi guys, it's Nancy, and I posted a video or a picture of a card I made. I actually already sent it to a friend, but you guys have been asking me to do a video on it. So we are going to be using this stencil from a Colorful Life Designs. I am now an affiliate for Colorful Life Designs, so I will link it down below for you. Great company for stencils. Definitely recommend checking them out. So here I have a piece of Yupo paper. If you don't know what Yupo paper is, it's a synthetic paper. It's basically made out of plastic, and a lot of professional artists use it for watercoloring, but also for alcohol inks because they stay on top of the paper, giving you some working time, and then you can move them around. And this was a really easy, cool scene to make. So I have my alcohol inks here, and I have a variety of alcohol inks from Ranger, Pinata, Marabou. Use what you have, and I'm just going to start laying some inks down. And I'm going to start with my lightest blues. This one's called Aqua. And that's all I'm going to do is just throw some ink down. This one is Aquamarine. Sailboat Blue. All right, and now it's kind of like a lot of ink everywhere. And so I kind of want them to blend a little bit, so I'm going to take some alcohol blending solution. And you can also use alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, but I'm going to put that down. You'll notice that it's going to lighten the ink and move it around, and then I'll just take my little hand squeezy tool here and just kind of blend those inks together. See, I don't want to move it around too much. I kind of want this ethereal look where there's pockets of color and there's pockets of light. And see over here where I missed it, I do want all of that colored, so I'm just going to put some more blending solution in there and spread that ink in there. Okay, that's very easy. That's our water. I'm very, very happy with that. I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, so down at the bottom is where I kind of made like my sea floor, and I did it in a lot of greens. That was also very easy to do. So I'm going to take some different colors of green. This is Meadow. And I'm going to take the tip and I'm going to drop it in the spots where I want it. It's a little bit more controlled on where the inks are going. And I will go up the side here. And it almost looks like, you know, kind of like coral growing up the side. You know, you could do any color. A Mojito, which is a little more brighter green. Okay, now for whatever reason my ink isn't blending down here, I'm just going to hit it with the blower to spread it out. Once there's ink, it'll move a lot easier. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do is just keep layering my different green inks. So this one's Lettuce. All right, now Notice here all my greens kind of like took over here. They're nice and spotty. I like that. I think I have some other greens I can incorporate here. This is Marabou green ink. This has some metallic in it. Now these you don't twist off, you pop the lid off like that. These have a much longer tip, so a little bit more ink comes out. And again, I'm just doing some little ink drops here. We don't need a lot. We want it to look like, again, to me it's like little corals. And now I just kind of look back, and any place that I think needs more, I'm going to go in and just fill in. Now you can see in some places where the alcohol is dried, it's not moving as much. And that's okay at this point, because now I really just want little small points to kind of fill in. All right, so I'm pretty happy with this. I think I want to leave that alone. It's very, very easy, guys. And we want to make sure this is all dry before we move on to the next step. So I'm going to pause the video while I bring the heat tool to this. And when you do the heat tool, you want it on the low setting. So I'm going to do this on low, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've gone through and dried this a little bit more. There is still globs of alcohol ink where it's kind of pulled together. And at this point, if you were going to add foil, that's when you would do it, but I'm not going to add foil. I'm going to take an alcohol wipe. This is an alcohol baby wipe, basically. Well, not baby wipe, just an alcohol wipe. And I kind of want to soften those areas. So any place where I have those kinds of pools of ink, see, I'm just going to take my my alcohol wipe and lift some of that extra ink, okay? So that's going to help dry it. It's going to help make it not so sticky. You want to move the wipe around so that that doesn't happen. You don't transfer the ink. Let me grab a new one. And this is also going to help soften up our water. So I'm just going to kind of bunch it up, and in a couple of spots here, I'm just going to dab. And what that's going to do is it's going to soften up the alcohol ink. And it's okay if I move the blue around within the blue and the green around within the green, but I really don't want any of my green in with my blue, and I don't want any blue in my green. So I'm trying to keep those separated. But this softens it. If you think it's too harsh and you want it even softer, go back in and add more blending solution. Blending solution will lighten it and move it around. Okay, and you'll see it start to move around. I'm just going to, again, just kind of lift some of that green up before we move into our next spot. Okay. So that's what our alcohol ink panel looks like. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add the Mermaid Stencil on here. And ideally, you want this to be completely dry, because otherwise, when the stencil goes down, it's going to stick and that ink could smudge or move. But for the sake of time, I am going to move on with that. Let me clean up this little mess here. So again, I just take my antibacterial alcohol wipes and just wipe up all of that mess. And you'll notice that I do have gloves on so that I don't stain my fingertips, and I'm working on a non-stick mat so that I don't stain my desk. Okay, so this is pretty much dry at this point. I like the way that it looks. I probably would have softened the blue a little bit more, but it's not bad looking. Okay, all right, so then the next step is to add the mermaid. So here we have a Colorful Life Designs. The name of this one is Set You Free, which has the mermaid. And then it says, let the sea set you free. Now, I don't want the sentiment. I just want the mermaid, right? And I want it to look like she's kind of swimming out of this cove. And I have a big blob of alcohol there. So I'm going to put her right over it. And then I'm going to carefully cover the bottom with some mint tape from scrapbook.com, and I will link everything down in the description for you. This is going to hold it in place but also protect my paste from not going in there. And I'm using the Gina K Designs Glitz Glitter Gel, okay? I've done an experiment with the glitter gels, and this is by far the best value. This gel is nice and creamy. It does have like a clear gel base, so you do kind of want to mix that in. And these are super easy to clean up. They're very, very sparkly, very glittery, and you get a lot in the tub. So we're just going to scoop some of that out with a little palette knife, and we're just going to very carefully carry that down onto the stencil. And it's like icing a cake. You want to go in one direction. If you go up, down, back, forth, what's going to happen is that your glitter could seep under the stencil, and we don't want any of that. So just, you know, a couple swipes and then lift any of the excess out. Now you can make this as thick or thin if you want it. Like I feel like that's a little too thin, so I'm going to layer this on a little thicker so that when we lift the stencil, there's a lot of dimension with her. Okay, and that's it, guys. It's really that simple. And then we'll take a baby wipe and we'll clean this up. I'm going to lift the stencil, and because that's mint tape is basically the same as Post-it tape. Look at how beautiful that is. And then I'm going to set this aside and allow it to dry. This is a 5x7 panel, so I can automatically put this on a 5x7 card. Of course, you can cut your Yupo paper down to any size, but I think this stencil lends itself very nicely to this look. All right. If you have any questions, post them down below. I will link everything for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching and keep on stamping. Bye-bye.